This is The Second Studio, hosted by two architects, myself, David Lee, and Marina Bordeaux-Renee. This week, it's the two of us in the studio for an after hours. Are we recording? We are. An after hours episode, during which we talk about whatever we want. And I have a few things written down, which will probably get vetoed as soon as we start. So let's see how it goes. Sponsors.
It's about school, yeah.
Sponsors.
This episode of The Second Studio is brought to you by BQE Core, the all-in-one firm management software built for architects. Designed by architects for architects, Core helps you track time effortlessly, manage projects seamlessly, and get paid faster so you can focus on design, not spreadsheets. With powerful automation and real-time insights, it's everything you need to run a smarter, more profitable firm. See how BQE Core can transform your practice by clicking the link in our show notes. The Second Studio podcast is sponsored by Autodesk. And do you know about Autodesk Forma? Available standalone or as part of the AEC Collection software bundle, it's a specialized AI-assisted 3D design tool that can transform early project planning. With Forma, you can rapidly model multiple massing options at the start of projects and analyze the embodied carbon cost of different volumes, layouts, and material choices. You can then deepen your understanding of your sites by incorporating real-world contextual data for daylight, wind, noise, and more. So start your projects right with Autodesk Forma. Check out the link in our show notes to learn more. This
is The Second Studio with the two of us. Here we go. So this is a little bit of a melancholic celebration of sorts, because this is the last time we will be doing a recording in this studio setup. And we've had this setup. That didn't even occur to you, did it?
No, and actually I wouldn't even think about it as melancholic. But I guess you're probably more attached to it.
I mean, it's not melancholic. I think we've both been eager for kind of a refresh of the studio setting for a bit of time. I was trying to think. I think we've had this. I could go back and check in my photos. How long have we had this, set up with the panels? I know the shelving and stuff has morphed over time, but we've probably had the panels for 5 years, 4
since we
years?
Started videos, so I think it's been 3 years. Probably 5.
Let's go back in time. Just over 5 years, almost 5 years to the day.
Yeah, and I think we're approaching our 8th-year anniversary of podcasts.
Maybe even 8 or 9.
Well, we started at the end of 2017.
I don't remember.
Yeah, because I think it was the year before we left New York.
Okay.
So what are we?
I don't know. I'm too tired. So yeah, 8 years.
Yeah.
It's been 8 years basically.
Yeah.
And it's been 5 years and 1 week since we had this setup, and it's going to be the same. It's going to be, well, we're going to use the panels still, but just a slightly different format. So. And I'm actually pretty excited for it because I like this, this kind of desk situation. It feels I like it, but it's a lot of time to sit in a normal chair at a desk, and there's already enough time spent at desks with what we do. So it'll be nice to be...
I think the next step would be recording the podcast when we're walking.
When we're walking?
Yeah, well, so you'd spend even less time sitting.
Yeah, I mean, what do they call it? OB, outdoor broadcast. You can get some lav mics and whatever, walk around.
Yeah, I'm too out of breath to do that.
It's doable.
It'd be me like, yeah. What? Sorry, I'm going up a hill. What is your favorite building?
Architects out of shape talking about being out of shape.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, so wish us luck for this transition because we're doing it by hand, baby.
Mm-hmm. I mean, for the listeners, it probably won't be that different because we're still going to use the panels. So, but, logistically, it's, people might not also know, we've actually taken this same exact arrangement of the panels and the desk and everything and done it in at least 2 different places now. Fortunately, the space that it takes is a fairly standard room size, so it's easy to do, but this time it's going to be different. So, I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, change is always good. I'm kind of interested because I feel like I don't like repetitive. So I don't like rewatching movies, for example.
Yeah.
Like I don't like repeating an experience, I guess. But I'm okay with not a routine, but kind of a routine.
What's an
Like
example?
Like waking up, making my bed, doing things in an order, you know, like keeping stuff, or like, I don't know, and maybe it's just a way of keeping stuff organized. So I do like that because I feel like it gives me maybe like stability or control, right? But at the same time, I like changes. So, I mean, I guess it makes sense.
But you're excited for this change.
Yeah, I think it's going to be good.
Well, you've never really cared for this setup, the current one, which was, you know, having a more formal.
I don't like sitting without moving for 2 hours. I don't like the table is too high, so I tend to have like a bad posture at a table.
Too high.
Yeah,
it's a normal height.
What, call me short?
Would you shrink or something?
I just feel like my elbow are pushing my shoulders up, and then it makes me have a bad posture, and I get uncomfortable. So, yeah, I mean, I think it's going to be good.
Yeah, eventually, you know, the next evolution of the setup we will be in like full recliners, laying down, and the camera will be on the ceiling just looking at us.
God, it's gonna be so flattering of an angle.
We'll be like the those people in WALL-E floating around in big life rafts.
I'm excited about it. I'm just not excited to have to deal with you about it.
What does that mean?
Well, because you're gonna be like so stressed out, like things, you know, and I'm just tired thinking about that.
Talking about the division of labor, it is weird. There are certain things I'm not good at, as I've talked about before on the show. Schedules. I've talked about that before.
No, you can be good. You just refuse to.
No. It's not a refusal.
Are you good at puzzles?
No, we've talked about this before too.
That's right. That's what I'm
the schedules. There's something about them in my brain that it doesn't. It's like a misalignment. I'm sure if I did it all the time.
Out of the two of us, you're always the one that's late.
Yeah, but that has nothing to do with scheduling.
It has to do with schedule.
It's not really. I'm squeezing the most out of. I was actually thinking about that.
But that's exactly why you're not good at schedule, because you're like just cutting it slightly too close.
No.
Time management.
Well, okay. I think there are three different things, really. The time management part is
You're not good at that either.
This is like not great as a business owner, but that's also why I have a partner who's in charge of this stuff. I almost philosophically disagree with the idea of time management for creative tasks. Like when people are like, okay, we have this much, get the fuck out of here. I'll let you know how much time it's going to take me when I do this. And you'll know when I'm done. That's my mentality. But with the being late to everything, I was thinking about the other day, and I'm trying to not do that. But I think what it is that the 5 minutes before let's say I'm going somewhere, I'm supposed to meet someone, I'm going out, right? I'm supposed to leave at 2:15. I know that. I know as an adult, I leave at 2:15. That it takes into account, 15 or 20 minutes of traffic plus da-da-da-da-da. And for parking, I need to leave at 2:15. And then always at 2:15, I habitually say to myself, I think I can leave at like 2:20 or 2:25.
Oh, God.
And the thing is, I believe those 5 to 10 minutes, what it's really about is it's not so much about just squeezing the most out of the day. It's about my to-do list gets filled up with all these like crumbs of tasks to do. And those are the ones that get pushed off forever because they're not significant enough to warrant like sitting down and doing them. And there's no hard deadline for them either. So we all have like I don't know about you, but for me, emails that are read but marked as unread, and I save them because I'm going to get back to them, and they're like breadcrumbs. So like they're crumbs of things to do.
Take care of them within 3 days.
Okay, yes, so you're one of those freaks.
I don't like many unread email in my inbox.
I'm trying to get their little red
thousands.
The little red icon. I want to see what happens if it maxes out. No, but so, all those like little tasks, those like breadcrumb things, the 5 to 10 minutes beforehand is like the perfect time to do that because it's not enough time to really focus and do a proper task. And it's enough time to do just like little stuff.
Yeah, but then you end up spending your day in like a rush mode. Because you're just squeezing stuff. Oh, I gotta go now. Oh, I'm gonna be late, and it's like
that's why
it is so stressful.
That's why I have an electric car, and I just zoom around. When I'm by myself, I go very quickly to various places.
But that's unsafe driving, and it's not cool for the other people on the road.
No, I mean I don't speed. I just accelerate very quickly.
Yeah, but then you brake very quickly too. So
how would you know? You're not in the car.
I can't imagine. I know
you're making stuff up.
I know you well enough.
Making stuff up.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm the opposite. I'm like, well, I have to leave at 2:15, I'm gonna leave at 2:10 because I'm ready no matter what. What's the point of sticking around? I'm not productive. I'll be there. I'll, fix my makeup, use the bathroom, grab a coffee, or do whatever else, or check my email, make sure I'm prepared and ready. Like, I just refuse to be in a mode where I have to be stressed if there is no reason to be stressed.
Yeah, that's a better way of doing it.
So I would rather be there 5 minutes early and sit and just chill for 5 minutes rather than show. And I hate showing up late, and I really don't like when people are showing up late if they have no valid reason for being late.
Oh yeah, of course.
So,
but to be fair, I'm not like always late to everything, and if I am late to stuff, it's a casual thing. If for meetings, I'm not late to, but it's like if I'm getting lunch with somebody, I'm 5 minutes late. It's like no one cares, and I don't care if they're 5 minutes late either. Casual things, it's okay.
I do care even for casual things.
I remember we did a trip to China. It was part of a group. I have a kangaroo sore, so I'm kind of fumbling
chewing
here.
on lips.
Yeah, I bit my lip really hard the other night, and I don't know.
What's wrong with you, man?
I don't know why that happens.
That's all this 5 minutes stress you're experiencing every day. It's catching up at night.
It sounds like I'm chewing tobacco. I remember we were on a trip in China with a group. We both were. Traveling as a group is always difficult, right? Like it's
a big group.
It's stressful, and you have the dynamic of the people and whatever else. And there was one morning where we had to wake up early to catch like whatever transportation to go here or there. So it was kind of a fairly stressful morning, and it was early. So a person in the group who was a group member. They weren't the designated leader they weren't like their tour guide, but they were kind of organizing the next day. And they said, okay, everybody, we got to be down in the lobby by, 6:30 a.m. or whatever it was. Like, you need to be here on time because we got to catch the thing. We can't be late. And if you're late, then we're going to leave without you. And sorry, but that's what it's got to be. Fine. So you, me, and I think like 3 other people show up in the lobby at 6:25. Like, we're on time by 6:30. We're there. And then the person who said to be there by 6:30 shows up a little bit late. She's like, oh yeah, I made that up. We actually don't need to leave until 7, but I said 6:30 to make sure everyone's here on time. And everyone had a late night out the night before. And the 4 of us or 5 of us that were there at 6:30 were like, fuck you. Like, we are not 8-year-olds or 12-year-olds or 22-year-old, whatever age-year-olds, right? We're like adults. You don't get to play, first of all, group leader and then lie to us and have us sacrifice a half an hour of sleep when no one got enough sleep the last night, anyway. And I was like,
15 minutes, sure, fine, but half an hour, that's a bit excessive.
It was half an hour. It was way
who's
off.
Going to be late by half an hour if you need to have a group going places? Like, nobody.
And the thing was, this individual saw no problem with that. She was like, oh yeah, I did that. I'm like, oh yeah, fuck you. You know what I mean? Like, no, that's not okay.
Yeah,
that's because, obviously then the people who are on time get penalized for the people who would not be on time. That doesn't make any sense at all. Tidbits like that. She was immediately on my blacklist.
I know. Yeah.
Also, who wears fucking pink? A pink parka. Get out of here. It's like, do you want all the attention?
Yeah,
it's
yeah, obviously.
Anyway.
So you're getting a bit sentimental about this studio?
Not really.
No. All right. Well, that's
no,
good. Then. Should make it easier.
Like I said, it's I've been ready for a change. But the part that is stressful, going back to the topic of what we're each good at. So the last time that we had to recreate this set, right? It wasn't exactly the same because the room was slightly different. Things move by a couple inches here or there. And it's interesting how much that, is this still on, this camera? No. How much that impacts the perspective of the cameras and the angle and the lighting and all that stuff. And for me, that's not my area of expertise. But I do know that a tiny shift makes things look very differently in the camera, in perspective, or the lighting, or this and that object. And the table's positioned here, so it covers up that thing, but now it moved half an inch, so it doesn't, and the table's higher or lower, it's a different all this stuff. And I hate that's not.
But I think
that's why you did the final tweaking of the thing for what we have now. I was like, I can't deal with this. There's too many.
Yeah, and I made barely any tweaks.
So it's a placebo effect? I'm like, oh, this looks really good.
Yeah, I don't remember making many tweaks to it. So I think it's also because your brain function as like a very high level precision and perfection, and mine doesn't work that way.
Well,
not to say that I don't care, but there is a certain level I'm willing to invest my level of stress before I feel like it's gonna make no difference. So
I was talking to someone recently, and they were actually it was a potential client, and they were describing themselves versus their partner and how they're different. And they were saying they're the ones interested in design and the big vision, but they're also hyper detailed. And when they said that, I thought it was really interesting because I told them, I'm like, actually, that's how I am. And you would think that those are two different personalities, to be ultra detailed and fastidious over the alignment of, quarter inches and whatever else, or whatever client's jokes, a 16th of an inch. But then also zoom way the fuck out, and you're very concerned with the big conceptual picture of what's happening. But I feel like that's a fairly common, it's not duality, but these two ends of the spectrum that you'd have in one person, because I'm definitely that way, and I feel like I know a handful of architects who are also that way, which is a problem because the middle is what you need to do anything. Thoughts?
Yeah, yeah, exactly. But that's why you partner with different people, and that's why like what we do requires most of the time a team. You can't just be the one person doing it all. Otherwise, I think you just lack, talent one way or the other in what you're trying to do.
I think that's fair, and I do think now things are so much more complicated that the idea of expertise, in various things is it's a real outcome of how complex everything has become. I think as before, it's easier to be kind of like not a master of none, but a generalist, to a greater degree a generalist.
I mean, I think you still can be a generalist, but you're not really going to be pushing your limit very far where everyone else is. So it's kind of like if you want to keep up and maybe get to a certain level, you cannot just be a generalist.
Well, but I don't know if you want to talk about architecture, but architects are kind of known as being generalists. And a lot of architects would stand by that and say that's like one of our greatest strengths is that we are a generalist.
I don't know if generalist is the right word. I think it's more like an ace of all trades or something.
Jack of all trades.
Jack of all trades.
But sure, ace sounds better. Yeah.
And what did I say? I was reading a kid's book today, and my brain is so fried. I said dinosaurus. And
Dinosaurus?
I was like, dinosaur doesn't sound right. I was like, wait a minute. Dinosaur and rhinoceros. I was like, what? So I just made up a new word.
We have a dinosaur book that has the real scientific names of, 50 dinosaurs. And I legitimately cannot pronounce, even after 5 attempts, probably half of the names.
Well, and in all transparency, I think you might be slightly dyslexic, so this book is probably not for you.
Can you read them, though? They're
I can
long.
read my last name, so I feel like...
Yeah, that's why I have Lee, so I'm handicapped.
You started with a handicap right there.
But some of them are long, and it's I feel stupid reading them out loud to a baby because I'm like, Sarah, stop it.
I mean, you can make
we're
mistakes.
just going to skip that one.
He won't know.
I think he knows.
But I don't think generalist is the right word. Because generalist means that you kind of like don't really know things in depth. To me, it sounds like you just have an on-the-surface knowledge, which is not what architects are about. Like, they have very deep knowledge in architecture, but they have to wear different hats on projects, which makes them generalists because they have to play different roles. I mean, I don't know. Like, if you take the best actor... If they can play drama, comedy, and sci-fi, are they generalist actors? Or are they just talented actors that can play different roles? If anything, they're specialists at what they do, if they could do that.
Yeah.
Because that's the essence of what they do.
Yeah, I do understand what you're saying. I think that the really weird thing about what we do is like, because you do have this broad set of information and your job is to, again, order it, manipulate it, and use it to create a very specific outcome, a designed outcome, an artistic outcome. It just makes it, I don't know, it makes it difficult for people to like understand what the hell we do, because it's very almost immaterial, right? It's like, it's very elusive. It's not concrete. And it's, I don't know, we've talked about it before here many, many times, but it's a very strange thing. And there must be parallel professions, though, that people who in those professions struggle in the same way, and they must have found a good solution for describing, conveying their value that we could learn from. But I don't know. It is a peculiar one. But talking about other things,
Wait, I just realized you have 2 drinks going on right now.
Yeah, I'm thirsty. But they're both water, because we have sponsors who don't like us drinking alcohol. So I'm having 2 different glasses of water. One is
red,
fizzy water,
one is brown,
and the other water is dark red, and it smells like
grape juice.
Grape juice.
I need your help to move the stuff tomorrow. Like, I can't just be the muscles for what we have to do.
Be the muscles.
I'm going to be the one taking stuff down and put it back up, so...
Yeah, it'll be fine. What I was going to say is the aquarium. We went to an aquarium recently.
Yeah.
Maybe...
How was it?
No. I'm proposing the idea, the topic. What was it like going to the aquarium for you?
For me?
Yeah. As a foreigner.
Well, I've been to aquariums before.
Oh, have you?
Even in this country. Yes, I did, mister.
Do they have aquariums in France? Doesn't feel like
of course.
Yeah, it doesn't feel like a very French thing, though.
No, they have aquariums in France, of course. Can't remember if I've been to any. No, I feel like I've been to some, probably when we did like a school trip to go to the ocean or something. I don't know. But
to go to the ocean?
Yeah, I feel
Are you
like
confusing
we
the
must
ocean
have
with
gone
the
to an
aquarium?
aquarium. I have to ask my parents, actually. That's a good question. I've been to aquariums before, but it was my first time going to an aquarium as a mom, which is such a weird thing to say. The word mom, I just see like a 45-year-old lady, exhausted, wrinkled.
With a fanny pack.
Well, I have a fanny pack.
Okay, well, a lot of these things, you're not far off from them.
Whoa. I'm still plenty young. So the word mom's just, when you hear the word mom, you just think about your own mom, right? And that implies the idea of what mom means. And then you look at yourself and like, but I'm not a mom. Yeah. But then you are, because you birth a kid and you're raising a kid, so you are a mom. So it's kind of a weird thing.
But so not to deviate from the aquarium part of it, but
like, do you think about the same thing as a dad? Like, when you think
I thought about
dad,
this.
like, I feel like I'm kind of a joke I can't say I'm a mom. Like, it's a joke, right?
I reject the idea of the word dad.
Because of the letters, or
no, because of the baggage, like you said. It just doesn't fit into
who you are.
I mean, I guess it would be sort of like another title. Maybe in the sense of a profession or career, that what would be an example? Like, okay, there's this person, and they have that title, and they do that job, and then you get that job. Now you have that title, and you have to assume the position of them.
Like, you get promoted, but you don't feel like you have the credentials or something.
Well, what I'm saying is that, so when you get that position, you are, and I'm speaking very kind of abstractly in a way, but you're sitting at that desk, at their desk, wearing that suit, and you walk a certain way, and you now talk to people a certain way, and you are an individual that was whatever you were before on your own, and then when you become that title, you now embody the structure that comes with it, and the outfit that comes with it, the mold that comes with it.
I know.
And I just don't, and that mold, that preconception of what a dad is or a mom is, I like reject all of it. Not in the sense that I'm parenting in some kind of weird alternative way, but I just don't think about it. I don't think about what a dad should be doing. What is a dad? what do they dress? You know,
Well, first
all
of all,
that
we
stuff.
don't have time to think about that.
Well, that's true. Like, I'm just going to do what I think makes sense and then hope for the best.
Yeah, no, it is weird. And again, I think it comes from like society, kind of like putting those weights on words and like what people should be doing and who they should become and this and that. And
Sure.
it's a weird thing. So anyway,
Let me ask. This is maybe more interesting than the aquarium stuff. When you see other parents who are of our general age,
I don't.
so they are between broad range of like 30 to 40, you know what I mean?
Right.
Millennial-ish,
I don't see them as parents
right?
unless they look old.
Right?
Because it's funny.
Do you think it's weird?
Sometimes I see like, you know, on like social media or whatever, people and they're like, "Oh, I'm turning 40," and I look at them and I'm like, "Shit, I thought you were like 45." I'm like, "Wow." I'm like, "We're not that far apart in age," and I feel like you look way older than I do.
We
Like,
do have
you look
baby
like-
faces.
Like you do look like a woman or whatever that means. Like
Yeah.
I feel like I look like a kid. You know?
Well, we do have baby faces.
Do we still do that?
Yeah, we
I
do.
don't know. I feel like I'm
And
getting
it's annoying.
bags and grays and all that's good stuff.
Not enough of them.
It's probably
we
too
need
many
more.
for me though.
We need more of them. Just a side tangent. I legitimately think that having a baby face and having one own its business can easily set a person back by 5 years.
Oh yeah, I mean we talked about that before.
Like, without a
we
doubt.
talked about that before.
But what do you think about when you see parents again of that millennial generation, and they're in LA or San Francisco, wherever? Let's say LA specifically, and you know I'm thinking of the dad because that's who I would pay attention to. They're wearing like long white socks, which is in trend now. Shorts, like some kind of goofy baseball cap, baggy T-shirt. You know what kind of shoes are in vogue? I don't know, whatever kind of shoes, and they got like bracelets, and they're doing it's a whole LA vibe, and they got sunglasses on, and they're like walking around having kombucha.
It's too many things I don't like.
But when you see that, do you think to yourself, what do you think when you see that image, or in the equivalent of that for women? Because I have very specific visceral response to that.
I probably find I don't know. I probably find it annoying and also funny.
Funny,
Like I would not take these people seriously as parents.
Interesting. How very close-minded of you.
I don't know. There's something weird about like you spend too much time on yourself, but you're still trying to be a parent. And it's like, but really, how good are you at either? If you're or how good of a parent are you if you spend that much time thinking about what you're wearing?
That's an interesting. I mean, obviously that doesn't.
I mean, maybe
it
I
doesn't
should
work.
spend more time thinking about what I'm wearing.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It's a little bit too much about the cliche, showing the perfect picture to the world.
Right.
And that's one of the criticism of our generation. I think it's like, focusing too much of what people think of you. And how
I think all generations had that though. Conformity.
Maybe in different ways.
My thought is, I'm very open-minded and welcoming of all people and styles, but no, I mean I and this is just like an emotional response, subjective response. I'm not saying this is like whatever I would ever say to somebody unless it's on a podcast. But it is weird to me. It's like you're spending too much time trying to be cool, and when your kid doesn't care. And I was remarking the other day, like we were out and around, I don't know, whatever. We were walking around in stores, just like going out. And I told you, I was like, I have zero interest. Think about what I'm wearing. I mean, I'm not going to dress like a psychopath.
Although sometimes you go out with your pajama shirt on. So.
Yeah. Well, but there's a mild amount of coordination because I am a creative person. I can't wear like polka dots paired with stripes. I can't do that. But like, I'm not really trying, and I don't really care. And it's strange because if I think about think about my life 7 years ago or whatever
New York.
in New York, and a lot of things were different. Like it's New York City. You're walking everywhere. You're seen all the time. You're basically on a runway. Is one way to think about it all day. I was working at an office, so that automatically bifurcates life and makes things really fucking easy.
And dress code.
And then there's a sort of dress code and whatever else. But like there was a lot more thought and attention that went into the fashion. What am I going to buy next, or what's cool that's going on, keeping track of the trends, loosely, and being very caring about like what you're going to wear on this day and that day and the weekend and whatever else. And now I don't really care, and it is
I also wonder if that
strangely freeing.
I also wonder if that ties into it's kind of a tangent, but the shopping experience. And the fact that you don't really go to stores anymore, like everybody just shops online, right? Mm-hmm. Most of the time you shop online, like maybe once, twice a year, you like go to a store or whatever. But like the shopping experience is very different, and therefore you're just less in tune with what's up, and maybe you just care less about it.
I think
that plus the place you live in. I mean, I think, definitely. You're in New York, everybody's well dressed. There's stores, you walk by stores all the time. You go out a lot more. So, like it's a very different lifestyle than if you're in LA or San Francisco, and it's a lot more casual. And also, there is no season, so you can wear the same stuff all year. It doesn't really matter.
That's true.
You don't need to have like 3 different types of clothing for the seasons you have. So
the online shopping thing is an interesting observation. I think it probably applies like in the broadest scope, but for myself, that's not really the reason. I don't shop. I don't care. I don't shop, and I don't care to spend time doing that. I definitely don't care spending money to do that. The only time I buy stuff is basically for business. I'm like, I need a new shirt or whatever it is, right? Because I've worn the same shirt to all the meetings the last like 10 times. But apart from that, I just don't care. And it's like, I think the thing too that I've become much more aware of now because we have our own business is like how precious of a resource time is. And therefore, your attention going in and energy into something which equals time. It's so, so precious. And I'd rather invest it in, sounds a stupid word, but invest it into things that are going to directly help the business, help us produce good work, or the kid. I don't care about anything else. And how I look to the world apart from optics for business reasons, I just, why do I give a shit about that?
Yeah, but maybe you could get business on your downtime when you look good. Think about that. You go grocery shopping. If you were looking like $1 million, you never know who you can attract. Think about it. Maybe you should try those stripes and polka dots together. You might get a lot of attention.
Yeah.
But like talking about that and kind of going back to the topic of like being a parent or whatever, being a mom, being a dad. The one thing I realized is that so you reject the idea of like dad and all of that stuff, and I reject the idea of like being part of the parents club. Like I have no freaking interest in becoming buddies with other parents, and to be honest, I have no interest in other kids. Let's be clear, unless they're like super cute or super funny. Like I'm plenty satisfied with mine.
Yeah,
I don't need.
Well, look, I mean,
like I babysat. When I was a student, I have siblings. Like I don't have issues with kids. I just don't have an interest in meeting kids or being friends with kids and their parents. And I know it sucks because we have a long ways to go. With our kid.
I was going to say, well, I got news for you because I'm definitely not doing fucking that shit. So you're going to have to do it. No, I mean, I think...
I just speak French. Sorry, I don't speak English.
The problem is the world is much more international, so there's a good chance someone's going to speak French.
I just take my big, strong accent and nobody would understand what I'm saying.
Are you tired of juggling multiple pieces of software and struggling with spreadsheets that aren't made for the realities of design and architecture in 2023? Built by and for designers and architects, Programa's all-in-one suite of tools has everything modern studios need for every stage of a project. Mood boards, the world's best specification tools, procurement tracking, project management, and more. All smartly integrated and easily shareable and always up to date, reducing time-consuming double handling and costly errors. Share work in various formats from PDFs to client-friendly, up-to-date online dashboards. Join the ranks of leading studios using Programma today. Click the Programma link in our show notes to start for free.
This episode is brought to you by Chaos. They make award-winning design and visualization tools, and they're really pushing the boundaries with AI. Now, AI is shaking up the architecture and design world, and Chaos is taking a responsible approach. Their tools are built to help architects, designers, and visualization specialists to work faster and explore more ideas without replacing creativity. Basically, Chaos wants AI to make your imagination stronger, not take over. So you get to design with more freedom, create stunning visuals, and stay in control of your work. If you want to see what that looks like, tap the Chaos link in our show notes.
When you have a kid and you're staring at them, it's difficult to really comprehend your life in a parallel dimension with them not around. Like you just never had the kid. In some way, the practicality of the day-to-day is easy to imagine. It's like, okay, well, I wouldn't have this
I'd be able
thing to
sleep
clean up
past 6 a.m.
Yeah, I'd be able to sleep more. There's that. I wouldn't do X, Y, and Z things. I'd be just reverting back to what I was doing before, which was, I don't know what it was, eating dinner this way or whatever. Like that you can imagine, of course. But I really, it's hard to overemphasize or express the foundational shift that takes place once you have a kid. You are suddenly experiencing this completely other, fifth dimension to reality that you just didn't, you saw through hazy glass before. Mm-hmm. You're aware of it. You see it. You're like, oh, I kind of can understand. But no, you don't really understand. At least that's how I feel about it.
I mean,
it's like seeing color.
Yeah.
I've used this analogy before, but there's that book called The Giver, and The Giver is an old man, I think, who sees color, and his job is to give the ability to see color to an individual. And the book does a beautiful job, as you can imagine. How the fuck do you describe that in words? But there's a really good job of it. And it's like that. It's like, this is a whole different thing, and not the practicalities of it. I'm not talking about that. It's just it's really weird.
It still puzzles me that we as humans can make other humans. Every time I look at him, I'm like, I'm like, I made that.
Yeah.
How the hell did I make that?
The
weird thing is that it's not like, oh, I made a building, or oh, I made a painting. It's a living thing that's gonna develop and have its own, the mind of his own personality, make his own choices. It's actually, as a creative, it's a very interesting thing because, buildings are living. Yeah, sure, they go through time and different people living in them and different uses and remodels and all of that, right? But they're still static and they don't really have a mind of their own, right? So, they don't and also I feel like they don't evolve as quickly as a kid, for example, does.
Yeah,
and that's the most fascinating part of that, whole parenthood experience is just witnessing how we each were at some point, but decades past that.
Yeah.
Through, by watching someone else. And that's just, I don't know, that's just fascinating.
Yeah, sometimes I feel like I'm David Attenborough. I'm staring at him.
Sometimes I just sit and watch and
life,
I feel like a creep.
Born from a single cell, evolved. But that's really true. That's of course exactly what it is, and it's a weird.
But it's insane too, right? Like the fact that again, we are came from a tiny thing, and then you can develop fingers and hair and laughs and personality.
It's so bizarre,
and it's our world is probably way more complex than we can comprehend if that's how we come to be.
It is really, really, really remarkable. And I had this very strong feeling the first handful of months that after he was born, was that as a creative person, as an architect, I always think about myself in relation to my work. Not always, but that's a big part of it, right? And of course, anyone as an architect, you design a building, create a building. It's a very intimate relationship you have with that structure because it's an artwork that's an expression of yourself that takes a lot of time and a lot of work and a tremendous amount of thinking on all these different facets. And then you create this thing, which is at the end of it, you didn't know it was going to be like that. There was no way you could predict from day zero that it was going to end up being like this. But you created this thing, and now it's out there. Like, fuck, I made this thing. Like, I didn't know I had it in me to make this thing. And that's always the case with every project, which is so daunting, but also satisfying and also depressing, because once it's done, then it's done. And I think also when I'm designing a structure, there's an aspect of like, I want that structure to be as pure, as honest and perfect as possible. I don't mean perfect in terms of like structural integrity or sustainability, metrics, or perfect in terms of everything lining up. I mean perfect in that it is the purest expression of what it just wants to be. Mm-hmm. That's what I'm really after. I think a lot of architects feel that same way. You want that. And you can feel naturally when you're working, when you're in that stride. You might not get there in the end, but you're in that stride. And you can also feel intuitively when it's not right. The astonishing thing to me when our kid was born, in the first few months also, you're with him a lot, much more than later on. I would look at him and I would think, this is the most perfect thing that I can't really say I made him, because the guy's contribution to all this is like really, really, it's over in a second, and then that's kind of it, and then you're just a cheerleader in the background. But the most perfect thing I will have ever created or had a collaboration with it to create.
Oh, thank you.
And without a doubt, there's no way I'm ever going to create anything, be it a building, a painting, whatever, that's going to be as perfect as the kid. And it's not because I'm not saying that the kid is beautiful objectively, like aesthetically, that's why I think they're perfect, but perfect in that they are exactly what they intended to be and are meant to be and should be, and that's exactly it. There's no tweaking of it. There's no looking at, it's weird to compare a baby to a building, but there's no like looking at the facade and be like, well, I'm not so sure about this piece, you know what I mean? Let's fuss with it and fuss with it. And then years later, like, yeah, that was the right call, I think. It's not that. Yeah. It's exact. There's nothing you could do to change it, to make it better.
That's what I thought was interesting when we had him the first few months, like looking at him, I was like, I have no control on this creation. Right?
Yeah.
My body made it, and it's my body. Sure, I was, trying to be healthy during pregnancy and not eat this and that and, rest and all that stuff to help my body make it. But I had no control over what I made.
Yeah.
And I have no control from now on until ever, right? Like, I can try and shape and influence him, but ultimately I cannot make him what I would want him to become.
Right.
Which is, again, a weird thing as a creative, right? Because in a way, I don't know, you're letting the creation create itself.
I know right? What you mean, because I also had the same, I think, similar thought, is that, when we create a building, it takes effort to create it. You have to like proactively decide to spend time, take time away from other things, let's say, and do it. Like, you have to volunteer to do it, and you have to put a lot of work into doing it. And what's weird about having a kid is that, again, different for a guy, of course, but like, to your point, there's no doing of anything other than like making sure it gets food and whatever, but you're not crafting it.
Yeah.
You don't have any say in how it evolves and grows and what it becomes. And so for me, it was kind of like, it was odd that the most perfect thing I will ever had a hand in creating is perfect, yet I had nothing to do directly with it. Yeah. It is just a biological, evolutionary thing that happens, and it is a profound, like, it's the complete opposite of architecture, because architecture is a fucking war.
I think also, it brings maybe a relief to, the everyday life, to have that, right? Because because you know that there's nothing you can do. Like it's not really in your control.
True.
And you kind of have to live with the idea that it's not really in your control, right?
Yeah.
And you have to be comfortable with that.
Yeah.
When everything else in life every day is in your freaking control.
Or
right?
you're supposed to be trying to do something to guide it this way or that way. Yeah.
So it is kind of I think a life-changing experience, not just because, now you have a roommate with you and someone to take care of. I think it's life-changing on like the broader scope of the meaning of our existence and lifestyle.
I like that observation because it's like, everything you do in your life is you have the ability to tamper with, to control it or try to control it or to shape the outcome of whatever it is to be in your favor, which is basically what you do throughout life. And now you have this thing that you don't really, and nor should you, and that's why it is perfect. I also had a similar kind of thought, which was no matter what's happening in the day, no matter what phone calls I had, no matter what is going on in the shitstorm of having an architecture office, there's this constant that's on its own track, like you said, on its own track, on its own, doing its thing. And it is perfect, and it's just going to become what it's going to become and evolve into what it's going to evolve. And suddenly you're aware of this other, I guess, dimension, you would say, of how things could work or are working in front of your eyes. It's really kind of mind-boggling. It's also very calming.
It's weird,
depending on
because
how they're behaving.
Well, depending on how, I guess, easy
but it's
or
that
not
constant,
the kid is.
you know what I mean? And
it is. And in a way, it kind of brings, like, relief and peace to the day and whatever else is happening, because it is this constant. And it's a weird thing. Like we said that often to him and to each other, like every day, like he's gonna be here until he moves out. Right, fine. But even then, he would still be here. And it's weird. It's weird because of, first of all, he's so awesome that it just feels like it's like a little mini Christmas every day, Yeah. Like every day you get to spend time with him. It's like it's just pure joy.
Yeah.
And it's weird to think that we're lucky enough to have that every day, right? Like if you imagine life without him, like before him, it's like, wow, what was the treat every day? Like eating chocolate and like Nutella toast. Like that was the treat of the day.
Further proof that you do eat Nutella and chocolate more too often than you should.
When was the last time I ate some? I can't even recall.
I don't know. Well, now that you have a kid, maybe you can eat less. No, but I agree, and I certainly understand what you're saying. It's kind of like...
And it could be the slightest thing, It could be like how he looks at something. It could be like how he laughs. It could be like how he's sleeping. It could be a funny sound. Like it could be the smallest thing, and that's enough to just bring joy. And people will be like, oh, you have to really think if you want kids. Like they cost a lot of money, and they're a pain in the butt, and they're gonna live with you until they're like 30 or whatever. And I'm like,
whoa, 30? Oh my god!
Well, in some cases,
yeah. You're Italian, yeah.
But, I think people forget to mention that it's like those small things every day that you get, like those little crumbs of joy that I think is more important to think about.
Well, to be fair, we're also, to date, very lucky.
Oh, yeah, no, we are.
We've had, we've come to find that it's not uncommon for parents to have what they would call a colicky baby, which basically means they just fucking cry.
Oh, we got really lucky with the kid we got on many reasons. I mean, even like the whole pregnancy experience, birthing experience, like compared to other friends and family we have, like, we got extremely lucky, which makes for a big thing.
Yeah. So I want to say that's definitely part of it, but I feel like also our lives very challenging. Challenging because of the profession we chose. Yeah. It's just hard. It's like you're walking on concrete like 12 hours a day. It's just hard. And then when you have your own business, it's hard. And I'm not complaining because that's what we chose. But architects, if you're listening, you know what I'm talking about. It's just it's hard. And sometimes you're like, man, I need a break. And that break doesn't come. I need something to pivot, to happen. And you're like, oh shit, we're like super close. I think this is going to happen. And then the rug gets pulled from under. You're like, fuck, happened again. And notice I say again. And so it's just hard. And, you know, we've had a lot of people on the show, guests, this podcast guests, and some people, it's hard, but then something happens and it works out. And some people are just fucking lucky. They were born into wealth, right? Or their dad is an architect and they step into like, you know, $1 million commissions. And I've said before in the show that it's important that when we're doing like our fellow designer episodes, like I always kind of say, like, nothing's a guarantee that it's going to work out. Because I think it's an unfair thing to say, like, oh, it all works out then. Like, bullshit, you don't know that. Anyway, what I'm going with that is it's difficult. And it's just, it is strange because now you have this thing that brings an immensely concentrated amount of joy through the smallest of moments. And you're not doing anything to cause that. And it's almost, I wouldn't say there's a feeling of like you don't deserve it, because I don't feel that way. That's kind of, you know, a weird psychological defect, I think. But like, it is different. It's like, oh shit. Like, nothing else does this. Nothing else is suddenly just brings about, fills the room with like extreme happiness when everyone else is in the room, just as suddenly lights up. Nothing else does that.
Nothing else cries really hard, too.
Nothing else shrieks in the middle of the night at 1 a.m. for an hour and a half either. But nothing else gives that way without any kind of thought or expectation
or ultra motives or
of return.
Yeah.
You know, you said earlier also, like, everyone was once a baby, kind of.
Yeah.
I have that thought very frequently now when I see people, especially when I see people who are assholes.
You're like, what kind of baby were you?
People who are, you know, are not pleasant to work with. People who are fire. People who are out in the world cutting other people off, you know, driving and they're giving the finger, like whatever kind of bullshit. Or people, you know, in areas where it's not a great neighborhood and they're poor and they're struggling. And they look, you know, like they've been through a lot. And it's a weird thought, man, that like all of these different people once started off as a perfect baby. Mm-hmm. Again, not perfect as they were all the most beautiful baby in the world, the most well-behaved. I'm not saying that, but they were perfect and pristine. And I kind of want to tell, I don't think I would ever do this, but the next time someone's behaving, they're choosing to behave poorly, I'm going to be like, you know, you were once a baby and you were the most optimistic, bright-eyed, curious being that just wanted to learn and have fun and giggle and eat and poop. And now you're behaving like a total fucking asshole to everybody. Like, you need to really think about that. There's no need to be that way because you did not start off that way. You didn't start off as an evil baby, right?
I mean, I don't think that's a thing. Maybe it is.
Well, that's, you know, that belongs in movies.
Yeah.
And in some ways, it's a depressing thought because it's like, well, we all started off that way. Mm-hmm. No baby was born with like ill intentions that they were going to, you know, take over the world and laser eye people or whatever. So we all had that opportunity to allow that mode of existence to just continue even through the difficult times. And you're choosing not to do that.
Well, yeah, there's probably, you know, something that happened at some point somewhere.
Sure, but, you know, I don't know if it's necessarily a good excuse either.
Now, the one thing I'm wondering, because, you know, this is our first kid, is like, are we going to feel the same about the second one?
Oh, I don't know.
Or is the second one be like, yeah, fine. Yeah, sure. It's not a different thing. Imagine you have the same one twice. Oh my God, that would be incredible.
You can't replicate that first one. I mean, in terms of the experience and how you feel about them and all that stuff. I mean, I was guessing the other day, I'm like, the first one is a miracle.
No, it is. And you know, it's hard also, I think, I can imagine that it's hard for parents
to give a shit about the second kid.
No. Just, parents say like, oh no, you shouldn't be comparing kids. Like you don't have a favorite. I'm like, but you must have a favorite. And it's not favorite like, oh, you're my favorite and I don't care about the other one. You must have certain affinities with, if you have several kids, more or less with one versus another. Therefore, makes them your favorite or a little bit less favorite, right? Like. So
look, some people have 2 kids and 1 kid is a fucking terror. Then that's an easy choice. Let's be real. But like, I was saying when you have a kid, it's like it unlocks a different dimension of understanding.
Yeah.
That's not. It's definitely better. It's more just like you just didn't know. You didn't know before, and I feel like the second kid would be like the same thing. So it's like just not a different flavor. It's just a different. Yeah. Aspect to the dimension, maybe a new dimension, and where they're not maybe comparable.
And
one would hope.
And then you get the crossovers of the 2 kids interacting with each other, and that's also probably super interesting from a scientific observation thing.
Yeah, I would say on the subject of whether or not people should have kids, and for people who are debating between that and thinking about that, should I not, and whatever. This is something that you and I talked about extensively, because we are very thorough people who do buildings, and we like to plan and think and just think it through.
And be responsible, to be honest.
And be responsible, and there's a lot to it.
Like we said, like it doesn't make sense to onboard a third person in this relationship if we don't have our shit figured out, right? Like,
yeah, I think it's fair.
Just to be fair to that third person.
I think that's fair. And I think there's a lot to unpack there, which I'm sure we'll talk about in another After Hours. But it's like, if you're on the fence and you're not completely destitute, you should do it. It's like, I just don't know how to convey how profound of a positive shift it is. And fuck all the other concerns one might have. Aside from the fact that, again, if you're really struggling, then I think your argument or your position of what you said makes a lot of sense. And we've talked about that as well for the 2 of us. But like, hesitancy because of career or because of, actually it's mostly career these days, I feel like, for people, right? Career or this and that, whatever. I'm like, look, like, you don't understand. All that stuff matters still, for sure. I mean, clearly for us, but like, a baby is not something you can put in the pros and cons chart. It doesn't fit into the matrix of information, because it defies all logic of how much you love the thing and whether or not it should be around and what it feels like when it's there. Like, it doesn't even, it doesn't belong on the scale. It doesn't belong on the scale at all. And the strange thing for me to think about is, like, there was, of course, a period of time where we did think about this, and there was a discussion like, maybe it's not a good idea, or maybe, we'll see, or whatever it was. And if I could somehow go back in time and visit myself, I'd be like, what the fuck are you talking about? Don't be an idiot. Stop being afraid. This is the right choice. Do it. And then I'd vanish, as a ghost into thin air. And if I didn't, no. I don't, like that. It's one of those moments that would have been a horrific mistake.
I mean, we talked about it today. I was like, can you imagine if we had said, like, let's not have any kids? We would have missed big mistake on this whole thing. And when we talked about it, I often wonder, like, am I meant to be a mom? Like, should I be a mom? Those type of things. And then he's here, and I'm like, of course I was meant to be a mom. Like,
wait, that's interesting. What do you mean by meant to be a mom? Before having the kid, like, what was your thinking with that? Fanny pack and wrinkles, or what do you mean?
No, like, I don't know, being, just being good enough to raise someone else.
That's interesting.
Or feeling like it was gonna be natural for me to care for someone else that is small and needs everything, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I can care for plants, so it makes sense that I would be able to care for a kid. No, but I feel like it's kind of a joke, but it's also not a joke. If you can care for something else than yourself, that you most likely will be able to care for someone else, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't know. Like, kids in elementary school, they take care of an egg. as proof they could take care of a baby. I don't know.
Do you have an egg? That's a weird thing.
There's a thing that they do.
Oh.
You take care of an egg, and you have to like make sure it doesn't crack for like a week, and then it's to learn how to take care of something. I never had that thought about you, but more about me. And maybe it sounds
for yourself. Yeah, I mean, I don't think I had a thought of you like not being able to be a dad. Like I don't think.
But it's weird that you would think think that about yourself. Because, I don't know. Why wouldn't you be? Look at the things we do on the day-to-day, like how complex they are. And again, it's weird to compare parenting to architecture, but come on, man. Architecture's fucking tough.
Yeah, I guess that's true. I don't know. I mean...
we'll see how our position on this changes over the years.
I think my mind, too, was like, I don't want to assume that because I'm a woman, I'm supposed to be a mom. And I think in my mind, I was like profoundly trying to think if I... ignoring society and all of those things, like, should be a mom, Because again, like, we're all expected to be parents, we're all expected to have kids, we're all expected to do all the things that everybody else is doing and society is telling us to do. And, as the way we think, that like the two of us, you always want to make sure that is the decision that, you've made yourself and was not imposed on you. So just kind of questioning if that is actually what you want and not what you're supposed to be doing. Seemed important.
The other thing too is that when you're thinking about having a first kid, the math on that working out is like far worse than I thought previously. Because you always hear about people getting pregnant all the time. I'm like, it's kind of a miracle that anyone gets pregnant with the timing of things. But anyway, the that decision to have a kid, and let's say it happens and you have the kid. There's no take backsies. It's not like I'm deciding to have Mexican, dinner for Saturday night, and then it didn't go well. Okay, I won't go back there. Like it is the most permanent decision I think an individual can ever make, really, aside from like deciding to be a murderer or something like that. Like there's no going back. And not only is there no going back as a thing you've done that you have to remember for the rest of your life, it's an active thing that's in the present for the rest of your life. And I think for me, that was one of the parts that was really
the
difficult.
Long-term commitment.
You could say it that way, but it was really difficult for my brain to wrap around that concept of making a decision about something that you don't actually know how. If you're going to be good at it, how it's going to go, and whatever else.
But if you think about it, it's the same as like any decision we make.
No,
right?
It's not.
No, it is. Like it's the same as like choosing a career when you're 17, 18 years old. You don't know if it's going to work out.
But you can pivot.
Yeah.
You can't pivot after having a baby.
Yeah, sure, fine.
You know what I mean? And I also think about it in terms of, again, the process of creating an architecture, like reliving the conceptual realm and the testing and exploration, experimentation realm. We try stuff. Don't like it, rip it apart, do it again. Don't like it, abandon it, redo the whole thing from scratch. Like it, leave the project.
You can do the same thing with a kid.
Yeah, but of course. But I mean, it's like, so that was probably the biggest part of it for me, aside from health, kind of concerns. It was like, this is just I didn't really have this thought, but I guess it would have been like, what happens if you have a kid, then you realize this was not a good idea? Either for personal reasons, not for myself, but generally for anybody. Either for personal reasons, you're like, yeah, I shouldn't have done this. I'm not ready for it. I don't like the kid. I don't know if that ever happens. I'm, financially, it's a catastrophe, or like whatever other things are happening.
Yeah.
But again, at least I'm not trying to give advice, but like, those thoughts just don't. They don't matter. They don't matter. Once they're here, like none of that matters. Like this is, again, it's perfect, and it brings a lot of joy, and it's all those concerns which leading up to it feel like huge concerns, huge decisions, huge, monumental, concrete things that have to be decided. But now, in retrospect, those are fucking Skittles. Like that. Who gives a shit?
Yeah, no, it's true. It's true. I mean, I also think you're right. Like, you have to make that decision when you feel like it's the right time for yourself. Make sure you also have a kid with, someone you care.
Sure.
Those things. And I think, yeah, I mean, you see it more than once. Like sometimes it is not the right decision to make, and sometimes people do have kids and they shouldn't have.
That is true. That is true.
And yeah, so I think asking those questions to yourself, if you are wondering if you should have a kid or not, are good, because I think it means that if you're thinking about it, it's already a good sign. Versus if you just go rolling with it and not thinking about it, that's to me when you probably shouldn't have had a kid.
I don't know if that. I guess that happens. I guess that happens. Yeah, it's.
But the deal is he's not going to be an architect. I'm not really going to try to influence on that path. Like that's. No.
That's all right. I've already decided what he's going to be. I already know what he's going to be.
What is it going to be?
Superman. I have no
heavy.
doubt.
He can't fly.
I would not. I legitimately would be a little surprised, but not that surprised if he started like floating one day. I'd be like, "Whoa, all right." I'd be like, it kind of tracks. Like, I would not be surprised. I would not be surprised if we're like, at a park, at a pond, he just like decides to walk across the pond and be like,
you think he's Jesus?
Okay. Yeah. I had a feeling.
I mean, I don't want to sound like, one of those parents who are just in love with their kids, but there is something kind of honestly magical about this kid. Like wherever we go, somehow.
No, he's a good looking kid.
No, but it's not just that. Like people greet him anywhere we go. Like
I know.
His grandma was walking him around in the stroller, and someone, an older man, was so excited to see him, like threw a toy at him as a gift. And it's like strangers everywhere we go. I mean, it's. I think that also makes our experience as parents pretty wonderful, because it's like we have this amazing gift, and it feels like the gift is giving to other people.
Oh, I legitimately have that feeling.
And that is just it's like I'm giving joy to people by just having made him. Yeah. Like I am not doing anything to give people joy. I just have him around with me, and that brings joy. And it's just. It's like, I don't know, like sharing your Pokemon with everybody and it makes them happy.
Is that a Charizard? I legitimately have an interest to go out more, specifically, and I'm being serious, specifically because...
You want to see people's reactions.
Not even that. I feel like, how to describe it? It's
people
a combination
wonder,
of...
does he have a third eye or something?
I want other people to see him. I know they want to see him, and I feel like I owe it for everyone to see him, and I want to see their reaction. Like, that is my sole purpose for going out. Like, I don't really need to go out.
So he's officially represented by a modeling agency,
which I never agreed to, so I don't know when that came around.
Well, I'm the guardian, so that's fine. I'm here the guardian too. That's true. I think I told you I was going to send it and see what happens.
I didn't think you were really serious about it, but...
Oh, well. So watch out.
It's fine. It's just funsies to see, kind of see. But yeah, no, I mean... On the weekends, I'm like, we should go out. Not because I want to go out, because like we have this, glowing gold diamond of platinum gold diamond. It's a new material, a new element that we need to. That's glowing that we need to showcase to the world. We sound so obsessed and like not ego, whatever. I'm a kid, and I'm sure a lot of parents feel the same way. But we're talking to someone who has a kid, and they're like, oh yeah, when our first was born, I thought that he was the most beautiful baby ever. Like, objectively, I said, okay, no. Am I being biased because it's my own baby? No, I'm not. Like, they are objectively the perfect. And I sent pictures of them to everyone saying, isn't the most beautiful baby? And then zoom forward to 3 years later, the person I was speaking with was like, and I look back on photos, they were really, really weird looking and pretty ugly. Like, they were objectively ugly. All my friends must have thought you're a psychopath for saying this is the most attractive baby ever. And there's definitely some of that for sure. Yeah. For sure. You look at old pictures like, yeah, you're kind of funky looking. Yeah. Yeah. Well, we didn't talk about the aquarium at all, but that's okay. We'll just
it could be a next
save
recording.
That in the, put that in the chamber for the next time.
That sounds good. All right. Is it dinner time yet?
It's dinner time. It's shower time. It's mostly bedtime.
It's been bedtime since this morning.
If I could eat a ball that would be the equivalent of food,
Sleep.
and that would be food and a shower at the same time, and then I would just sleep after, that sounds perfect.
I know.
Sorry, Lynn.
Wow.
Okay, give us an outro.
Thank you, everyone, for listening to this After Hour episode. If you like this type of conversation, feel free to listen to more. We have a whole series like that. We also have a lot more topics and guests we bring onto the show. We're on most of the podcast platforms, Spotify, YouTube as well.
Do you think there's another architecture podcast where they just talk about random shit like this on occasion?
That has 400 episodes? No, I don't think so.
Probably not.
Probably not. I mean, if you've been listening to those shenanigans since the beginning, I'm not sure something's right with you still. So.
Yeah.
But anyway, if you like the show, please leave us a review, subscribe, share with your friends. Turn it on in the office so everybody can listen to it. If you want to reach out, if you have any stories, any jokes, any guests you want to see on the show, any topics or questions you would want us to talk about, you can reach out by calling or texting the hotline 213-222-6950. And then we're also on social media, Instagram mostly. You can find us on the website, secondstudiopod.com. And that's it.
Yep. That's it.
All right. Thank you again so much for listening, and talk soon.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye-bye.